Chris says, what would you change if you can turn back to your rookie year? If I can turn back to one of my rookie years, I would change the way I went about learning. I would have, instead of having the goal of making as much money as possible, my goal would have been to just learn how to trade. I lost a lot of money trying to make money because I thought making money was easy, right? The whole, just make 20 pips a day, 4,000 pips a year. I think it comes out to be a little bit more than that, 5,000 pips a year. And millionaire in, I think it was 5 years, right? With aggressive money management. So I would change that. I would go about my education the right way because I consistently put strategy over process. So that's what I would change. But all of my mistakes happened for a reason. It allowed me to become what I consider a pretty good teacher, for the pure fact that I have made pretty much every mistake that you guys have or will make. So my teaching knowledge it's not traditional. It's not from university or anything like that. It's not from working from a bank or a hedge fund. It's simply from the school of hard knocks. I was so bad that I learned how to be good. That's basically it. I ran out of bad things to do. So I just once you hit rock bottom, it's only up from there. That's kind of my story. I was so low to the ground that I can only go up. So it's depressing on the way down, but then it's kind of awesome. In hindsight, it's kind of awesome. I'm just lucky I was smart enough not to go broke. Most people go broke by the time they hit the rock bottom. That's the problem. I was lucky enough not to go broke. So I wasn't horribly bad. The one mistake I didn't make, this is probably what saved my career. The one mistake that I didn't make is I was always really cautious with position sizing. That's the one thing. A lot of traders I see now are like, they get so excited over this leverage, and they're like, and they over leverage themselves so that they trade position sizes so big that a few losses will just destroy their account. The one thing I was good at is I always traded really conservative. So even though I was losing money hand over fist, I was never like I blew a few accounts, but I blew a few accounts in time. So like I never blew accounts on like 2 trades. Like I'd blow a couple $1,000s, and then I'd be smart enough to be like, all right, well, this isn't working, Akil. Let's stop trading, and then I'd reload and stuff like that. So that's probably the one thing that saved me. Is I always had we always say what, you chip in a chair, right? I always had a chip, right? So we say chip in a chair, it's a poker term, whereas like as long as you have money, basically you can sit at the poker table and you have a chance. So I always had a chip in a chair. So I was, I may have not been good, but I was always able to have a seat at the table. And, eventually things started working out my way. Ron says, I would have opened up with half the amount of money I thought I wanted to open up with. There you go. Ron's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I wouldn't have been in a rush to waste some money. Chris says, were you like us on the keyboard in Stapleton? Yeah, I was, I was probably one of his most annoying clients. Not annoying in the sense, I asked a lot of questions. I asked a lot of questions. I was really involved. So he remembered me that way, which was good. But yeah, I was like you guys. I was like you guys, sitting in live. I had nothing better to do. I was unemployed, so I was sitting in live rooms, just learning for 3 hours a day, and then going back over course material for another like 4 hours a day, and then hitting the charts, eating those wish sandwiches like we talked about last week. Those imagination sandwiches where you got 2 slices of bread and then whatever you want, whatever you desire for the day on the inside. Yeah. Does that mean that we can be a coach like you one day? Of course. Many of the clients I've worked with have gone on to become trading coaches now. There are a handful of members that have come through the transformation course that are now teaching other traders. Certainly. You can do whatever you want with this skill. That's the cool thing about it. You can do whatever you want. Ron says, unemployment was the key to me being able to go all in with my trading. Not saying it can't be done while working, but I truly benefited from weeks. You know, I was the same way, Ron. You know, it was I call it a gift and a curse. It stunk being unemployed, but it was the only way that I was going to focus 100%. Because when I was working about 4 jobs before that, guys. So I would try to do some analysis in the morning. You know, it'd be bad. And this is before I got educated, so I didn't really know what I was doing anyway. But I'd get home and I'd be tired. Again, I worked from 8:30 to 3 o'clock in the school district with kids that had mental and behavioral health issues. So special needs children. And then I coached track from like 3:30, took a half an hour drive. 3:30 to about 6 o'clock, I coached track. And then from 6 to 9, I took a graduate course. And then from like 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I'd clean banks and preschools. And I get home like 12 o'clock. And it's like, I didn't want to do any charting. I wanted to go to sleep. So there's no way I would have been able to do it without being unemployed. But it was, it worked. It was all part of my plan. It was all part of my plan to be unemployed. It was all very, very thought out. So it wasn't just out of nowhere. But yeah, I don't think I ever would have focused enough. It wouldn't have been that urgent. Plus, I tell you, when you're unemployed, man, it's a survival. It's a back against the wall urgency that comes into effect too. I don't know about you, Ron, but it went from before, you know, I was making about $30,000 and it was like, you know, I can do this trading thing, but it's not necessary because, you know, $30,000 was a lot of money fresh out of high school or fresh out of college. I'm like, you know. But once I was unemployed, it was kind of like, man, like I have to make this work. I have no choice. And that's kind of when I perform the best, when there's a second left on the clock and I got to make the game-winning shot. I like the pressure. Gary V is an entrepreneur, motivational speaker. He always calls himself a wartime general, where he's actually uncomfortable when things are doing good. He likes when things are going bad because he feels like that brings the best out of him. I feel like I'm the same way. When things are like rough, that's when the brain really gets motivated. Like, all right, you have no choice. It's survival, self-preservation. So anyway, let me work my way back down to these questions. We can finish up on the pound dollar. All right, traders. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please show us by hitting that like button and subscribing by clicking the button right below. If you're looking for more educational content, feel free to head over to our tradeempowered.com website or also take a look and you'll see more videos available for you. Have a good one.